Hi all, now the topic for discussion is folic acid, which is also known as vitamin B9. So the word folic acid is derived from Latin word that is folium, which means leaf. Folium is a Latin word meaning leaf. Why? Because it is mainly isolated from the green leafy vegetable, specifically spinach. And the folic acid mainly consists of three components: a pteridine ring, then PABA, that is para-aminobenzoic acid, and multiple L-glutamic acid residues. Around 1 to 7 residues will be seen along with the folic acid. Hence, it is also known as pteroyl glutamic acid. So, in this figure, we can appreciate the structure of folic acid. You can see a pteridine derivative followed by para-aminobenzoic acid. This portion which contributing the pteroic acid and which is attached to glutamic acid residues, which can be multiple in number, polyglutamation site that will be attached to the pteroic acid. So together it is known as pteroyl glutamic acid. Now the active form of folic acid is known as tetrahydrofolate or tetrahydrofolic acid. Here the folate is enzymatically reduced in two-stage process in tissues to yield dihydro and tetrahydrofolate, which requires vitamin C. So the enzyme dihydrofolate reductase is required to reduce the folic acid in two enzymatic states. Initially the folic acid by folate reductase in presence of vitamin C, and the hydrogen atom is donated by the NADPH, and it leads to the formation of dihydrofolate. Dihydrofolate. Then one more reduction occurs with the help of another molecule of NADPH. That is why in this figure which is shown as two NADPH. So one more NADPH contributing the hydrogen atom, and again the folate reductase enzyme in presence of vitamin C. It leads to the reduction of dihydrofolate to tetrahydrofolate. That is the active form of folic acid. Now the sources of folic acid is mainly found in green leafy vegetables. I have not shown the slide here, but remember the source of folic acid is mainly found in green leafy vegetables, liver, yeast and all. Okay, now let's move to the functions of folic acid. Tetrahydrofolic acid acts as a carrier of 1 carbon units. So now let's see what are the 1 carbon units. 1 carbon units are methyl group CH3, then methylene group CH2, and methinyl group, that is CH, and formyl group CHO, and 4-amino group CH double bond NH. These are the 1 carbon unit. So the foremost function of folic acid is that the active form of folic acid, tetrahydrofolate, which acts as an acceptor or donor of 1 carbon units in reactions which involving amino acid and nucleotide metabolism. The 1 carbon units which bind with tetrahydrofolate at position N5 and N10 or on both the N5 and N10 of chiroyl structure. Now in detail about the functions of folic acid, it is mainly involving in conversion of serine to glycine, synthesis of thymidylate, that is one of the pyrimidine nucleotide, then catabolism of histidine, synthesis of purine, and synthesis of methionine from homocysteine. Now let's see one by one this thing. So this is all about the biochemical functions of folic acid. Once again, let me discuss the combined role of vitamin B12 and folic acid in the synthesis of methionine. So as we have discussed, methionine synthase enzyme, which is responsible for the conversion of homocysteine to methionine, in which it requires methylcobalamin, that is vitamin B12, and from methylcobalamin the methyl group will be donated to homocysteine, and it is leading to the production of methionine, and itself will be converted into cobalamin. And for the resynthesis of methylcobalamin, it requires N5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, and that also leads to the resynthesis of tetrahydrofolate in presence of vitamin B12. So in B12 deficiency, it can be leading to folate trap. Tetrahydrofolate will not be synthesized during vitamin B12 deficiency. And overall, this is known as the folate trap or folic acid trap. So the overall functions, once again, let us appreciate. Folic acid has some role in cells and tissues, rapid growth during infancy, adolescence and pregnancy. Then for the production of DNA and RNA, and it is mainly involving for the proper brain function, and it is required to maintain the mental and emotional health, and works closely with vitamin B12 to make disease. Now regarding the deficiency of folic acid. First is megaloblastic anemia. The deficiency of folic acid, which leads to impairment of synthesis of DNA. And this impaired DNA synthesis indirectly impairs the maturation of erythrocytes. Consequently, the megaloblasts are formed instead of normoblasts, and which will be getting accumulated in bone marrow and leads to megaloblastic anemia. So the first deficiency symptom of folic acid is that megaloblastic anemia. Megaloblastic anemia is characterized by hyperchromic macrocytic anemia. Here you can see that vitamin B6 deficiency was leading to microcytic hypochromic anemia, whereas folic acid deficiency leads to opposite, hyperchromic macrocytic anemia, which is known as megaloblastic anemia due to maturation blocking. Megaloblastic changes are seen in bone marrow and mucosa. So patient looks pale and glossitis also occurs. So in the laboratory findings of megaloblastic anemia, you can appreciate the figure here, macrocytic and hyperchromic anemia. And hypersegmentation of neutrophils also same. Now the second deficiency manifestation is that accumulation and excretion of Phe glue in the urine. So what is Phe glue? 4-aminoglutamic acid. Folate deficiency, which blocks the last step of histidine catabolism due to lack of tetrahydrofolate. So the last step of histidine metabolism was the conversion of Phe glue into L-glutamic acid, which requires tetrahydrofolate, and itself will be converted to N5-4-amino tetrahydrofolate. So in folate deficiency, what will happen? This step, the conversion of Phe glue to L-glutamic acid, does not occur, and there will be accumulation of 4-amino glutamic acid, that is Phe glue, occurs, and which will be excreted in urine in severe folic acid deficiency. That is known as Phe glue excretion in folate deficiency. So this Phe glue can be estimated in case of patient having folate deficiency. Now the next biochemical deficiency is that neural tube defect in fetus. So the folic acid supplementation during pregnancy helps to prevent neural tube defect. Since the folic acid involved in nucleic acid and amino acid metabolism, deficiency during early stage of pregnancy increases the risk of neural tube defect. So in this figure you can appreciate the neural tube defect. Now the next deficiency manifestation is hyperhomocystinemia. So we have appreciate the conversion of homocysteine to methionine, and in which we have seen the role of tetrahydrofolate. So homocysteine is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease, and the folic acid which is required for the conversion of homocysteine to methionine. So in folic acid deficiency, which is associated with increased plasma levels of homocysteine, and that is known as hyperhomocystinemia. Homocysteine level are also increased in vitamin B12 and pyridoxine deficiency. So the first folate antagonist, methotrexate, specifically aminopterin and amitriptyline, These drugs which competitively inhibits the enzyme dihydrofolate reductase enzyme in humans. It impairs the formation of active form of tetrahydrofolate from dihydrofolate. So the significance is that the specific reaction which helps for the conversion of deoxyuridylate to deoxythymidylate, where dihydrofolate is formed by utilization of N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate. Here the deoxythymidylate form is required for the DNA synthesis. Folate antagonists, specifically the methotrexate, are block DNA synthesis and inhibit cell division by inhibiting dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. So why? Because the dihydrofolate reductase enzyme and folate antagonist having structural similarity. So both will compete. Dihydrofolate and folate antagonist having structural similarity. Both will compete with the dihydrofolate reductase enzyme, and it will lead to decreased or inhibition of tetrahydrofolate synthesis, and thereby N5-N10 methylene tetrahydrofolate synthesis does not occur. That is required for the conversion of deoxyuridine monophosphate to deoxythymidine monophosphate. Indirectly, deoxythymidine monophosphate is required for the DNA synthesis, thereby which can inhibit the cell division. And it is mainly used in the treatment of cancer, particularly leukemia and choriocarcinoma. So as we know that the cancer is an uncontrolled proliferation of cell. So this cell division can be inhibited by giving this drug, by inhibiting dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. Now another example, trimethoprim. It is also a folic acid antagonist, and it inhibits the bacterial dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. Same in the previous figure, we have appreciated the role of dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. So it impairs the deoxythymidylate synthesis and leading to decreased synthesis of DNA. So almost this methotrexate and trimethoprim having the same mechanism of action and can inhibit the DNA synthesis and can arrest the cell division. So the initial one, methotrexate, mainly used as an anti-cancerous drug, and trimethoprim can be mainly used in the bacterial infection as antibiotic. So this is all about folic acid. So children, please focus on the biochemical functions and deficiency manifestations of folic acid, and you should understand what is the active form of folic acid, that is tetrahydrofolic acid, and what are the main functions of tetrahydrofolic acid. Thank you.